Welcome to Align and Activate Raw Talks and Universal Truths, exploring all things spiritual. So we've got manifestation, quantum healing, channeling, and light language. You name it, we've got it covered. So I'm Amy, Activation Amy, and I'm a coach for Starseeds, a quantum hypnotherapist, and a light language activation guide. And we've also got the beautiful
Jenny Priestner. I'm a manifestation mindset mentor, master NLP practitioner, channel and healer.
Yay, I love it. So today we're going to have a really fascinating conversation. Before we dive in with that, I just want to remind you, if you do resonate with this, to please leave us the thumbs up and to subscribe. All of our links will be down below. If you also down below, just below the video, if you also find, this is beneficial, then please do share this video with anybody that you feel will resonate, because what we are looking to do here, our intention is to make spirituality understandable and accessible for all, with the different concepts that we're going to be covering each week. So if you've not already checked out our previous videos, because they're kind of all leading on one from another, the first one was spiritual awakening for those going through like a dark night of the soul. The second one was we are energy, so we're really breaking that down on a scientific level. And then last week we went really deep with explaining what the higher self is and how to work with it. Now this week we're going to be talking about how to manifest anything, right? So both Jenny and myself have got sort of a years and years worth of experience, both within ourselves and what we've manifested, and putting lots of different manifestation processes into play, and also working with clients and helping them to manifest their dreams on various different aspects. So how to manifest anything. So we've actually broken it down into 4 parts. Now, there's much more to this, but what we have seen is that there are definitely 4 key core aspects to manifestation, right? Within sort of most scenarios, right? So the first one, okay, that we want to start with is healing, okay? So healing. So I will start, okay, and I'll explain why this is important.
Can I just do a quick interjection so we can just explain what manifestation is for people that have maybe never even heard of manifestation? Should we just do that one? Don't mean to interject. So manifestation is the belief that you can create something with your thoughts and energy. So the word manifest is to create. So if we think about that, we are wanting to create something, we are wanting to bring it into our reality. So I just wanted to sort of define that before we jumped into what it is. So for those that are new to manifestation, so yeah, it's the belief that we can create something with our thoughts and our energy. So again, that touches on things that we've done in previous ones about we are energy. So sorry for the interjection, just wanted to get that one out there.
No, that's really good, because like as I kind of said before, we were wanting to make spiritual concepts relatable to all. So that's just an assumption on my part that everyone here has heard about manifestation, and it's always good as well, wherever you're at in your journey, to revisit actually what is the definition of this that I'm actually talking about, because it gets it clearer in your mind as well. So thank you for that, Jenny. Yeah. So I would describe manifestation very similarly, in that it is creation. It is the bringing forth, I guess, of some of spiritual energy into the physical. It is giving something physical life. And I love what you said there about, it's the belief that your thoughts and that your energy creates. Because the truth is, we are all creator beings. Okay. And if you want to get quite spiritual with it, in the beginning, like
way back when,
and I think we started off with this maybe in our first one, okay, the spiritual awakening one, or maybe it was the energy one, where like there was source, there was only source or God or whatever name you want to give for the all, the one consciousness, the all that is, right? And your soul kind of split off from this source being, and it went to go and have experiences, right? So knowing that we are beings of source, what that then means is that we have the ability to create. We are creator beings. That is our actual truth. So what that means is we are beings of manifestation. So whether you believe that manifestation works or not, it's always working. It's always at play, right? You are either manifesting in your favor for what serves you or what does not. I mean, you could argue that it all serves you, because ultimately it's all lessons, right? But what serves you, as in what feels good, okay? And we're going to break that down today into 4 parts as to what that might look like. So I really wanted to start off with the first part of manifestation is healing, okay? Because if you are trying to manifest something, okay, and you are in a place of complete lack, okay, because you've not, like, I'll try and give you the best example that I possibly can in this situation, because it always helps to give examples. So when I was working at my banking job, in my corporate job, for like, I'd been there for like 16 years, 15, 16 years working in a call center. And all I wanted to do was have my own business. I knew that I was meant to be helping people. I knew that I was meant to be of service. I knew that I had healing gifts, and I was spiritually waking up. And I knew that I wanted my life to be different and to earn money in a different way from being of service. Okay. However, that job, because I was still there, okay, I ended up completely burning out. Okay. I didn't feel good most of the time. And I manifested a mental health disorder where I couldn't even leave the house. Right. So I was, is it called agoraphobic? I always get mixed up.
Yeah, agoraphobia, where you can't go out.
Yeah, I always get mixed up between that one and the spider one.
That's arachnophobia.
I know.
Imagine if you had both trapped in the house with spiders.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Jenny. Sorry if you're an arachnophobia person. But wow, yeah, that would be brutal. Okay, so yeah, I was in this place of, I was having panic attacks all the time, and it was like I couldn't regulate, and I knew that I still wanted to manifest this thing. I still had that desire, but like I needed to heal and work with my own emotions to get to a place where I would then be manifesting from the overflow, right, in order to help other people. And this is just one example of it, right? So not creating from a place of lack. So we can know what we want on some level, right? So what I then had to do is I had to go and work with a psychotherapist, right, for a while, to understand what was happening in my body, to start to regulate my emotions again, my adrenals, and to bring that like self-love aspect in, yeah, and to really just do that healing process before then I would move on to the next stage. So how does this apply to maybe your situation or a situation, Jenny, with you, or what would you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's when what you'd said before, whereas we are always manifesting. So if I just explain that in the sense of, you are either consciously manifesting in like, I want this, I am working towards this, or you are unconsciously manifesting. In other words, you don't really know what's happening, but all your thoughts, feelings, and emotions of, I'm having a shit life, this is not going well, you are manifesting yourself further into a shit life and feeling crap. So I think that's what Amy meant by you're constantly manifesting by what you think and what you feel. So in my example of the healing situation is, At the time, obviously, I just split up from my partner. I had PMDD, which is the premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And my energy, at the time, I wasn't really aware of energy work, if that made sense. It was right at the beginning of my spiritual journey. And I was very unhealed. I was very, 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 I can only describe it as empty inside. I was very dark and very empty, very lonely, very depressed. It was a very, very, very bad time of my life. So then imagine trying to find a partner in that time of your life. So the energy that I was giving out was very low vibrational, depressed, upset, dark energy, and I'm trying to find a partner in that state of mind. So the low vibrational energy that I was dishing out was getting me very low vibrational partners back. So this is where I was manifesting without realizing it. So I was seeking a partner. So I had the idea, the thought, the vision in my head. Right, okay, want to find a partner. And the energy that I was sending out was like dank and dark. And so I was getting narcissists, I was getting idiots, I was getting dickheads. And like, all along it was like, like, what's happening? Why are all these people coming to me? I'm such like a nice person and this is happening. And I think this is what what people don't actually realize is that you're just constantly manifesting on the energy you're sending out. So the first point of what Amy's saying there is we have to heal ourselves. So before you want to embark on, so you've got your vision, you've got your idea, you've got what you want, right? Okay, I want my business, or I want this, I want to manifest my soul partner, I want to manifest abundance. But if you're sending out low vibrational energy, you're only going to be getting back low vibrational manifestations. So that is like numero uno is the healing work that Amy's speaking of. So yeah, within that, you're wanting to observe any limiting beliefs that you have. So I'll just give my example again. So obviously, my limiting beliefs was like, maybe I wasn't worthy of love or something like that. What patterns and what cycles, what did I need to heal within myself in order to love myself more? Because once you love yourself, you raise your energy of self-love. And then that is then the energy that you're sending out. So then you're going to get these like nice people that want to love you back. So it is all about, it's the healing part is correcting your energy. You're obviously starting with a low energy and you've got to bring it up. So, we've got the buzzword shadow work. This is what everyone runs from because it is the not so nice bit of the journey, but it has to be done. And it's anything that is coming to kind of teach you about yourself. Like that is where you're gonna have to shine a light on the shadow work really and really get to know yourself and really go in and heal. And I know you do a lot of inner child work with your clients. Obviously I do that as well with NLP, and it really is, everything that we are experiencing now in life started stemming back from when we were younger, when all these seeds, when all these programs were planted. We were emanating it maybe on what our parents' relationship was like. If they had a rocky relationship, then like that is the program then of like, oh, okay, this is what I have in life. Rocky relationships are okay. So you have to like go back in time and kind of like unstitch these programs to be able to then decide who you want to be in this lifetime. Right. I don't want these rocky relationships. So therefore, I want to put out the energy of high vibrational, loving, best friend, finish each other's sentences kind of love rather than that push-pull factor that people get addicted to. So yeah, shadow work, limiting beliefs. So got my
Yeah.
sing song out again.
Oh yeah, she is. She is. So I would also describe healing, okay, as really doing your self-love work as well, because my coach describes like this aspect, the healing aspect of like you can't, she calls it when with manifestation, you can't ice a rotten cake, because if you try to go somewhere when you've not dealt with, this is like the foundational aspect of manifestation, and this is what so many people like miss, and everyone wants it fast. Everyone wants to manifest fast, but it's like the reality is, yes, you can manifest things fast, but you're not going to keep them. You're not going to maintain the vibration of having this thing that you want to bring in unless you've done that foundational work, because this is where your self-worth is. It's about learning to be the container for what it is that you're bringing in. And if you've got something going on from childhood that's telling you that you're not worthy of this thing, right? So for me, it looked like, my parents were both had, like, let's say, working class, right, if you want to look at it in that way. Yeah. And like they had like jobs all their life, and like money was scarce, and you couldn't just do what you wanted, and you don't get to make a living from doing something that you love. That's not how it is, you know what I mean? And you
To work hard.
got to work really, really hard and still not have enough,
Money is
right?
hard to come by.
Yeah, you can't enjoy yourself when you're working, like seeing my dad come home every night, and he obviously wasn't happy in his work, and he was exhausted, and my mum was always exhausted. So you have to work hard, you have to be exhausted, and money doesn't come easily, right? And when you're like, if you want to apply it to the business example, right, of like living your life purpose or whatever, which is incredibly beautiful, fulfilling, and it does feel easy. Yeah, you do work hard, but it's a different type of hard, right? So it's like, I have had to work on going back and doing the inner child work, right? Being with my inner child, asking them what it is that they need to now feel safe to move forward, right? And bring that healing, bring that self-love, bring that, this is like where we start to go into self-concept, which is like your worthiness in relation to different aspects. So in this aspect, the business and work aspect, it's like, I am, you have to work on the I am. It's like, I am somebody that, easily receives money. I am someone that work feels like a good and joyful process for, and could go on and on and on. But that's the way I see it. It's like, when you miss that self-love aspect, when you miss that healing aspect from manifestation, yes, you can manifest it and you can do it quickly in time. However, you will not keep the manifestation, because that is the absolute foundation of everything. So what would you say about that?
So quite a lot of the steps that we're going to speak about are interlinked, but I've just got a vision, so I feel like I need to share it. So if we imagine that this glass is a person and they are on their journey to manifest. So all this here is full of their sort of childhood trauma, and this is full at this moment in time. So the shadow work, the healing, is you've got to empty your container of all the energy of what you are holding on to, ready to receive more energy of what your manifestation is. So it is as well, it's like with the healing side of it on the shadow work, like a big part of my journey when I started mine is I started going to cacao ceremonies, and like that was obviously, so with cacao, it's a very high vibrational plant medicine. And when you start to drink it, any energy that's resided within your body that is low vibration, it's got no choice but to kind of like vibrate out and dissipate out. And the first one that I ever went to, I was just bawling and bawling and bawling and bawling and crying my eyes out. And that was part of my shadow work. It was like it needed to be released. So yes, shadow work, energy work, it is interlinked and intercombined, is that a word? So yeah, it is about clearing out everything that is holding you back, ready to receive new. And it's like with manifestation, I think some people think, when I speak about I'm a manifestation mindset mentor and the law of attraction, like, oh yeah, but it's all just woo-woo, isn't it? And it's like, no, it's not. It's psychology, it's NLP, it's coaching, and it's quantum physics. Those things are not woo-woo. This is not like, we speak about spirituality, but spirituality can be explained with quantum science. Like the gap that has closed now between science and spirituality is like, they are kissing, they are smooching. So it's no longer, it's even like tree hugging. Like, oh yeah, the hippies hugging trees. And it's like, yes, because there is an exchange of energy with the earth, which is like, negatively charged. And anyway, going off on a tangent, but this is not woo-woo. This is science. This is psychology. This is NLP. This is coaching. This is real and this works. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Speed.
Got my soapbox there, didn't I? It's like that, like, pay attention.
I love that, Jen. Yeah, because it's because it seems like it's woo-woo and it's out there because it's not fully understood on a scientific level yet, right? And I feel like between us we do have quite some good understanding. We're obviously learning all the time, right? But we're able to sort of hopefully impart our knowledge in a way where it's landing with people, where it's clicking and they're going like, yeah, that, of course that makes sense, because everything is energy, as we said, like the episode before last, and it's like energy is science, right? And it's just learning how to apply the you know, the energy and in different ways, which is why we're kind of breaking it apart. And you know, you're also right in that like all of this kind of does blend into one, because all the components that we're going to speak about are going to go into one another. But it's nice to have like some sort of process that people can kind of work along and go, oh yeah, I'm not quite at that point yet, right? And also I just want to say, like, you know, like we said in the spiritual awakening one in the beginning, this is like a cycle. So don't think just because you've done the healing work once on something, that's it then. Like it's never going to pop its head up again. Because you're going to be asked to revisit it. And as you go in your process, like say you've got the example of a relationship, you know, as you go deeper and deeper into that experience with that person, there's going to be things where you're going to be asked to revisit certain like childhood wounds and things like that, where you're going to have like a higher perspective on it because you've done some healing work, but it's going to come up time and time again. And like, you know, if you want to use the example of, you know, having your own business, it's like as you expand your business, as you work with more people, you know, so for example with myself now, like I'm creating a lot of self-study things, a lot of group offerings, and it's coming back again where it's like, does it get to be this easy for me? Do I get to do self-study? Am I allowed to do this? Right? Is it okay for me to receive money in this way? And you know, and I've had to explore that, and you know, going back to that guilt from my childhood, like, no, you don't, it doesn't get to be easy. Why do you think you can do this, right? So just know that again, the healing it's a cycle, and you're going to be asked to revisit it. So all we're doing is just giving you a process or like a bit of an instruction manual today, but you are, it's not like a one-time thing where you're like, I've done that bit now we can move on. Like it's not quite like that either.
No. So I would just like to say though, so for shadow work, for example, so ways to identify if you've got shadow work need to be done. So do you trigger easily? So do you get upset by things when people are speaking to you? Like if you're thinking about, I'll just keep on my example of a relationship and you keep on that one as a business one.
Yeah.
It's just easy then, because that's quite two ones where people can sort of really focus on. So in a relationship, you know, are there sort of things coming up from the past? Have you experienced past relationships? Are there wounds that need healing? Do you trigger easily? Like, you know, if your partner says something, is there something within you that like kind of triggers? So this is where sort of shadow work is identified. So how to sort of do these things as well. So I find journaling, journal prompts. So if you want to reach out to me and ask for some journal prompts on shadowing to do with relationships, just let me know. I'll happily send those over. But yeah, journal prompts is a way of touching into your subconscious and be able to get things out. And just obviously, like we've said, like self-care and self-love worth, you know, if you deem yourself not worthy to go and take a bath, like, oh no, not me, I need to go and put other people first, you know, that's shadow work that needs to be addressed, because there's something there that's saying to you that you're not worthy of taking time for yourself to go and have a bath because you've got to serve other people. Like that's a people-pleasing tendency. So you've got to really shine a light on your own behavior and kind of examine how you operate on a day-to-day basis to kind of see what shadow work needs to be done, really. So yeah, it's quite a self-introvert spectrum. I feel like I'm not saying that right. You've got to kind of like look in on yourself, if that makes sense. So yeah, with shadow work.
Yeah, definitely. It's having that awareness. But I really like what you said about, you know, if you're feeling triggered, then that's a good sign. If you've got a strong emotional charge around something, then it's something for you to look at on a deeper level. If you're feeling off balance, like really off balance in an area, then it's a sign, okay, that some work needs to be done there.
Okay, shall we go on to number
2? So once you are, you know, you feel like you have done some healing work and you feel like you might be in a good place, right? Like again, this is going to vary for every single person. So this is like, we're not talking about in any way, shape or form like this is how it is for everyone, because it's not, right? And I'll try and explain for my example then. So for my example, once I had been through that deep process of getting my mental health into a healthier place, right? So I'd gotten myself off the antidepressants, on antidepressants for about 2 years, just so I could do my job, right? So I'd come off them. I'd had my psychotherapy. I'd had, my adrenals were more balanced. I was more balanced in my body. I was getting more sleep. I was eating better. I was looking after myself better. And generally speaking, I was in a much more balanced, centered, emotionally grounded state. Okay. The next part, I would say, of manifestation is then to start to work towards your goals, because we cannot, I feel like a lot of people, they want to get over there to the goal when they're over here, and there's such a big gap, and it's like, it's a journey, right? And the first part of the journey, when you're in a really, not very good place, is to do some healing work. But then when you're starting to feel a bit better, then it's time to start moving towards your goals. And what I mean by that is really starting to look at the thoughts and the beliefs. And again, this can be part of healing. Of course it can, right? Depending on what it is. Yeah. But in relation to your goal, right? So for example, with me, with like the business side of things, then it was time for me to start maybe taking a coaching course to help other people, right? Maybe it was time for me to start working with other people. But as I did that, I would have beliefs and thought patterns that would still come up that would be like, no, you're not good enough to do that. Like, who do you think you are, to do that, right? In relation to the goal. Okay, so Jenny, this is your probably area of like doing your NLP and all that. So what would you say about that?
Just had the Spice Girls song come up in my head. I won't burst into song. Yeah, so this is now then your reprogramming. So you've shifted a lot of your energy work. Let's just say that that's done. So you've done your shadow work and you've kind of, you've released a lot of what you needed to release. And then now you've got your eye on your goal. And then, like you say, you've got this inner critic coming into your mind that's going, yeah, but you don't deserve that. But you're not worthy of that. So again, this is like seeds that have appeared in your past, that like whether you were told in school or whether, like I'll use the example of the parents, like if they had a falling apart relationship, it's like, oh, right, well, that's all I'm ever worth. Then I'm only ever worth a falling apart relationship kind of thing. So at this point now, you've got your inner critic sat on your shoulder saying, yeah, but you could never have that. Like when you want this big goal of unconditional love with your amazing partner, you'll never have that. So this is your inner critic. So this is where you've got to we've got to try and retrain our brain now, because we are not our thoughts. We are the observer behind the thoughts. So this inner critic's coming and having a word with you. And this is where it's like, well, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that about me? Where are you getting this information from? And I think sometimes people run from their inner critic, like, oh my God, shut up, I don't want to listen to you. But it's like, but this little inner critic is coming to tell you a little message. He, she, they, them. They're coming to tell you like a little message. They are messengers of like, you've got a part of you that's not healed yet. Let's talk about it. So you have to kind of like, I always say, like, invite your inner critic for tea. Like, pull up a chair, and when it comes and starts saying all these things to you, ask them, where are you getting this from? What is your evidence? What is your scientific evidence for this? Like, sorry. All these accents come out to play. And it really is, it's like these are the mindset issues that you have to then overcome. So this is the rewiring and reprogramming. So this is firing and wiring new synapses in the brain. So this is where we do NLP work, so neuro-linguistic programming, so neuro, brain, linguistic, language programming. So it's just reprogramming in the brain, and we explained this in one of our previous podcasts. And if you think about it, I'll just use my explanation of, so currently at this moment in time, your inner critic as saying, you're not worth this, you're not worth this, that neuro pathway in your brain is well trampled. That is a well trampled path. But you want to tell your brain, but I am worth it. So you have to start walking a different pathway. You have to start firing and wiring those synapses in a different way. And at first, it is going to feel alien to you. You know, you're going to get a little bit of resistance, like, I don't believe it. And that's where we have to give evidence to that belief. It's like, yeah, but I am worth it because I'm a really beautiful character. I am worth unconditional love. You know, we have to start convincing ourselves of what we are, basically. And in the end, when you start walking this new pathway, you walk it that much that this then becomes the dominant neural pathway, the fire and wire one. So then the other one, the little inner critic, the connection to it just kind of breaks away slowly. So in the end, you don't even have to, the inner critic doesn't come out. You've then invited like your inner cheerleader to come out that's like, we are totally worth this relationship. You are worth unconditional love, my girl. Like, this is going to be amazing. So in the end, you've got this inner cheerleader firing, which then raises your energy, which then raises your vibration. So, and then obviously then you're then putting out these beautiful thoughts of, I am worth love, and you've got the energy of it. And then this is when you are gonna attract it. So yeah, the subconscious reprogramming. So it sounds super scary, but not. In the simplest form, it is changing your mindset, changing your mind.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, so it's mindset work. So the first part is healing, then it's mindset work, right? So I really love what you were, what you're saying there, because then it is literally just changing your mind, okay? And what that then does is it then pushes out, right? So your self-concept of who you believe yourself to be, okay, in relation to these different areas is saying, I am worthy of whatever it is, whatever the desire is, right? It's saying, I am good enough. And therefore, if you want to think about it like this, it's like there's almost, you then become a vacuum, because it's like, well, I am worthy of this thing. And the universe has to meet you there, right? Because it can't not, because that is the spirit, that's the spiritual law. Okay. It's like it's a vacuum, and it's like, they go.
The universal law of vibration.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I am this thing. So for me, it was like, I am a successful whatever, like coach, healer, channel, and then I had to become that, and I had to start manifesting clients, because that was then my belief system, right? So yeah, have you got any more that you want to say about mindset before we move on to the next bit?
No, I think that's it. But I think you'd said it there. It's changing your mind. And I think this is the thing. And I love Louise Hay's quote, it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. And that's how easy it is. But we have to be the one to choose to change our mind. So it's mindset work can be hard work, but the simplicity of it is it's just going from door A to door B. But yeah, this is why you work with a coach, to try and sort of, help you around these things. But, it can be done at home yourself. Just go for a different door.
Yeah, it can be done yourself, but what I will say, it's a lot harder. It really is. And obviously it depends where you are in your journey, your level of dedication and all that. From my own experience, it definitely hugely helps to work with somebody that has walked the journey and has manifested what it is that you wish to bring in already, because you know that they have actually walked the path and actually manifested that in their own life, right? So I do think that is important, when choosing somebody to work with. But yeah, and again, like, it's not, this is a journey. You've got to remember, this is a journey, because I just want to touch on this for a minute. What I see so many people doing, I've had so many clients, right? It's like, it's not working. Remember that when you are pushing out, when you are stating in your mind and your thoughts are saying it's not working because it's not here yet, you are still saying it's not here yet. And the law of vibration has to go, it's not here yet.
You're constantly manifesting.
So this is the next part of this. Now, I was going to use the term energy work, but what, as Jenny has said, the whole thing is energy, right? It's all energy. So the term that I'm going to use instead is embodiment, right? Being the embodiment of your manifestation, even when it's not here yet. So what do I mean by that? It's also known as living in the end, right? By Neville Goddard, if you want to check out his work. Okay. What that means is you are in a state of believing, so thinking and feeling, meaning that energetically, as a whole, you already have the thing that you desire. So this can look like then, like visualizing for a few minutes a day, right? As if you've already got the thing. So for me, what it would look like when I had a full-time job with the business, aspect is that, right, I was getting up at 4:45 every single day. I had literally it felt like I had no time, but I needed to manifest more time, right? So in order to do that, I had to make a choice that time was always available to me, right? So I would spend some time journaling. And as Jenny, started to touch on before, what I would do in this aspect for the embodiment, right, is I would just be writing as if I had already manifested my goal, which was having my business. So I would spend about 15 minutes journaling on, I love, the amazing day that I've had. I love that, my clients are having such a transformational experience. I love that they message me all the time. I love that I'm receiving this money. And I get myself into the state of, right, so this is what we've started to do. We've done the healing work. We've done the mindset, but then I would go out in my day. And even though I was in a situation where I was working in a warehouse at the time I was doing this, throughout the day, every time my 3D reality tried to sway me towards it's never going to happen. Look, you work in a warehouse. Why do you think you can do this? I would go, no, I am, and I feel in my energy. I would just take a few seconds, and it's what's called quantum jumping. And I would imagine, right, that this was in the past, that current moment was in the past. It was a memory, and I would see and feel myself with my client. So in my energy, the embodiment, it had already happened, and I physically felt it in my body that it was done. Okay, so it's the part where it's done. Okay, so what would you like to say about that bit?
No, I absolutely love that. So yeah, it's seeing it in the end, it's the acting as if. So if we're going to explain this, excuse me, in say terms of psychology and the subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a made up experience or a real experience. So that's why when you were sat watching Scream, when you were 17 years old or wherever how old you were, and you jump at scary bits because your mind doesn't know that you're watching a film. It honestly perceives that someone is coming at you with a scream mask on and, a knife. So that's why you get jumpy. That's why when you're watching two people break up on screen, you're tapping into the emotions of it because your brain's like, oh yeah, but they've really split up. It's like your brain doesn't know the difference between reality or not reality. So what we have to do with this acting as if is we're trying to trick ourselves that we are already living the experience. So how Amy's explained before is what we want is there and what we are is here. So there's a gap between that. And what we have to do is we have to close that gap. So we have to start telling ourselves, we have to start feeling into what that would feel like. So obviously Amy's explained the case of, she'd sit there and she'd be like, oh my God, that client was so amazing today, visualizing the money come to the bank and things like that. So I will explain mine in the case of manifesting my twin flame. So obviously I've described to you the energy that I was putting out originally was very dark and low and I was getting dickheads and narcissists. And then obviously I did the, I'm not worthy of a partner. So that was the mindset work. And then I got past that. And I really genuinely learned to love myself because, as I've used the example, I wouldn't even give myself the time to go and have a bath because I was like, no, jobs need doing, this need doing. And it really is that simple of changing your energy, changing your mindset. And now I had to bridge the gap. So I didn't have my twin flame, my soul partner. I didn't have my twin flame, my soul partner. So I had to kind of like bridge the gap. So before I used to go to bed every night, I would lay down in a bed. So as we explained in the last podcast as well. So before you go to bed, this is where your brain is in theta brain waves. So they're a lot slower. It's in a hypnotic state. So you're more likely to have an impression upon your subconscious mind at that moment in time because it's like a little sponge. So as I was falling to sleep, I would fall asleep and I'd just be giving the universe so much gratitude, like, oh my God, thank you. I've met my husband. This person is my best friend. They're my boyfriend. Like, I just cannot believe how amazing life is. I cannot believe like where I am in life now. Like, it is amazing. And as I was falling to sleep, my vibration was so high and I was visualizing how I was spending my time with my partner because I did want, a best friend and a boyfriend kind of rolled into one. And I was saying like, thank you for sending me my husband. And like, this is the thing, like and I've actually written a post about this. I've not actually posted it yet. So maybe this is a good time to do it. So dating sites, as good as they are, because they match people A with people B, but you are matching people based on material characteristics and also physical attributes. So okay, so I'm there filling in my dating site, bearing in mind I was it sounds really bad. I was on like Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, like, because I was just, like I say, I was not in a good place. I was just like actively seeking partner, sat at home on own with child. It was just robotics. Like, right, okay. So I want someone that's 6'4" because I want them dead tall. Okay, I want, they've got to have like super cashy jobs. So, you'd fill in like 60K plus, and then you'd fill in like, okay, yeah, just one kid because, any more than that's going to be graft. And like, you're filling in all these like kind of materialistic kind of attributes when really what if your soul partner was 6'2"? What if your soul partner had 3 kids? So you've just then gone and ruled out this beautiful feeling that you'd have with someone based on what your mind, what your eyes wanted to see. Oh yeah, but I've got to have that, and mummy and daddy want me to meet someone that's a lawyer or a solicitor. Great. So what are you going to talk about at night when you're bored as shit sat there over a dinner? It's like, sorry. This is why it's called raw talks and universal truth, because this is raw talk. But it's true though, if you're manifesting based on like a job, got to have a high-end job, and it's like, yeah, but that person might be boring as shit. And I'm not saying that lawyers and solicitors are boring as shit. Like, please don't think that. But I'm just saying though, you've got to manifest on a feeling. How do you want that person to make you feel? This is the key point in manifestation. It is a feeling. So I was obviously manifesting what I wanted my soul partner to like make me feel. And I tell you what, in the end, I came off all the dating sites, and I probably jumped with a gun here on the last one as well. But I came off on all the dating sites, and I was just like, oh, do you know what? Sorry, I'll just give up, like, and just what will be will be. And yeah, like I can't remember the time difference of it, but it's the universe. When you do your bit, the universe will meet you where you are. And when I say it will knock you down with a feather, you can't figure out the how. The universe tells you the how. You just do the work and you put in the process, and the universe will just be like, and that is the magic of manifestation, because it's never plotted and planned. It's never like, right, on the 31st of whatever month, I've got 31 days, you're gonna probably messing myself up here. Like, you're gonna get this partner. If you knew when it was gonna happen, that's boring. Like, it's the surprise of when it's gonna happen. It's how it's gonna happen. That is like the beauty of manifestation. And I tell you what now, like, I am with my twin flame soul partner, and every thought and feeling that I manifested came true. I am with my boyfriend and my best friend. Like, it is honestly, some days I'm just sat there and I'm just like, I just cannot believe like this relationship. I can't believe it, like this level of love and understanding and connection and relationship and like emotion and best mate and just like head how like is possible. So manifest on your feelings. So yeah, act as if. So you've really got to sit there and like, how do I want to feel? So Amy wanted to feel She wanted to feel the happiness of all the clients. She wanted to feel the money come in, what she could do with the money. She wanted to experience that level of service and level of offering, rather than like, I want this job because, you know, I want to work less hours and I want to earn money. No, you're trying to manifest on a physical attribute. You got to manifest on the feelings. And again, you can't manifest on a feeling if you are feeling shit about yourself. So that is why you've got to do the shadow work. That is why you've got to do the mindset work. So yeah, it is a process.
Yeah, definitely. And like for me, the feeling was freedom. And it's taken me a long time to really, really get to the core feeling, you know, of you know what it is actually. And it's freedom, right? It's work that allows me to feel free and be free and gives me the space and the expansiveness, you know, to go to yoga and to do my self-care. And the opposite, right? So my core conditioning, the opposite of freedom is like, you know, pressure. And I love that you used that word before, graft, you know, graft, right? And it's like, and it's just it's the opposite now, right? And it's like, no, work's got to be hard. But what if that wasn't true? Yeah. What if work could be like fulfilling and
Fun.
easy and fun? Yeah. And what if you could feel more free from the work that you were doing? What if you didn't feel trapped? Because I know that's how a lot of people feel, right? So with your example, with the relationship, I really like what you said there, because what happened was, what it sounded like what happened was, is there was a moment when, so you was constantly like on all these different dating sites, and you were kind of looking for it, like looking, and you're like, where is it? And then you worked on your feeling, right? And then it was like you had this moment where you was like, nope, what will be will be. And this is the next one. The next point is surrendering, letting go. So Jenny had done all the work. She'd done the healing, she'd done the mindset, she'd done, you know, she was starting to do the embodiment work, right? But it still wasn't here yet. But she didn't get caught up in it's never going to happen. Instead, because this is what a lot of people do all the work and everything, and like, well, it's not working, it's taking long, right? And just,
Impatience.
yeah, patience. And I don't particularly resonate with the term divine timing, because there is no such thing as time in spiritual truth, but there definitely is divine alignment and divine process. So it's when you come into alignment, and then the universe delivers it to you. And a lot of the time, it's in the moment where you're not giving up. You're saying, no, this still gets to happen, but I'm going to let go of this now. And she stopped looking for it and just went, right, that's it. It's going to happen when it's going to happen. And it happened, as Jenny said, in a way that was like, it sounds like, and from what I know of you, in a way that was better than what she had possibly envisioned, from trying to make it happen on her own terms with her own energy, because the universe rose up to meet that letting go and said, here it is.
Oh yeah. So it's the energy work. So if you've got to think about it as well, because of the self-love work that I was doing, whereas before my energy was very in, but I was emitting now a different frequency. And like we've said before, energy is magnetic. So in the end, I drew my person to me because they were also emitting a similar frequency. So this is why we say you become magnetic for what you want in life. So whatever is meant for you, my granddad used to say this to me when I was younger. I feel like this is like the seed of spirituality. He used to say, whatever is meant for you in life will not pass you by. So if you've got that person that maybe you've met and it's like, oh, you know, they've gone and met someone else, and then the pining after them, it's like, yeah, but if that person is meant to be in your life, they will always come back in. Like, we don't chase, we attract. And that's the thing, people go like running after it like a dog after a car. And it's like, no, it's like you sit and do you and put your energy out on what is meant for you in life will attract. And that's like obviously yours with your clients, you don't just go out sitting there looking for them. You just do you, put yourself
Yeah.
out there, and whoever wants to work with you will come and find you. But yeah, like in this example, So they're surrendering and just letting go. I'd let go of control, of trying to control when I was going to meet someone. I was just like, oh, do you know what? Sod it. When it happens, it happens. And like when it happened in a way that I was just least expecting it. And it could just knock you down with a feather. And ever since then, it's just like, wow. And when that happens, the beauty of it when it happens, you know, like even obviously in your case, when you started manifesting, you know, your clients and things like that, it's just, it really that I feel like that's the most beautiful part of manifestation, because it's the how. You don't get to say the how the universe takes care of, and that is the magic of it. And like people are like, oh, but magic, it doesn't believe in magic. And it's like, well, yeah, it's just something that's expect the unexpected, and that's what how the universe delivers. And yeah, and you've always just got to have faith as well. You know, like obviously you said there about the separation of, well, it's not here yet, it's not here yet. But you're putting out that it's not here yet, it's not here yet. And then the universe is like, okay, it's not here, takes it away. So, you know, again, you've got to keep the faith, you've got to keep your mindset, and like, my soul partner will arrive to me as and when I am ready and I'm finished doing what I need to do. So yeah, it'll just like create a vacuum, you'll suck it to you when it's ready. So yeah, if you want to manifest your twin flame or soul partner, get in touch. Let's get it sorted. Let's go through the
Yeah.
steps.
Yeah, it is, you know, and I guess for me, what it's looked like is, you know, not chasing after clients. So what I mean by that is, you know, I've never ever once like cold messaged a person. I've
DMs.
never,
Oh,
and I'm not slating anyone that does this, because I know there are people that may watch this that, you know, do different marketing things. It just hasn't resonated with me. If it feels good to you, fine, do it. Okay. But how it's looked for me is I always want, this is attraction marketing that I do. So I will tell people, let people know often about what it is that I'm offering. Right. So yes, there is some action. Okay. So but it's more like divine guided action. And yes, I do, of course, have like sales and marketing strategies that I've learned over the years, but it's very much like of a my energy saying, here's a thing, I'm so excited and like to be supporting people with this thing. If you are called, then come and join me. And then people will message me and people will just sign up for the thing. I've never once cold messaged anybody, right? I've never gone after. It's attraction. It's purely attraction. And the first time when I left my corporate job, you know, I wasn't in the place yet to actually receive clients, right? Because I still needed to go through this process, do more healing work, do more mindset work, and do more of the embodiment side of things. But the second time when I came to leave you know, the what's it, the warehouse job, it was in a completely different energy. I felt my energy shift. I completely felt the energy shift. And I was literally cleaning the toilet one day, and it was like I had a total out of body experience. And it was like my higher self and my guides were going, what are you doing? Right. It was like, what the fuck is this? Like, you're cleaning the toilet and you can change people's lives. You're ready. You need to hand your notice in
give
right
your head a
now.
wobble.
Yeah, it was mad. It was one of the most maddest things I've ever experienced. And it was like, it was literally like I saw myself from above, and they were like, you can't clean toilets anymore. Like, not no shade on anyone that cleans toilets, because some people that might be their thing, right? It wasn't my thing, right? So it's like I had all of this knowledge, you know, from doing years and years of courses, and I was already working with people. And it was just like the message was, you're ready, you can do it now. And ever since then, I swear to God, I have been supported. You know, I've always manifested the money, you know, in the beginning, like for my bills and stuff like that. And there's definitely been times when I've had to revisit things, and as I've changed and as I've evolved, it can feel very scary. But it's like there is a part of you, just to come back to the letting go now, where it's like, you know, the more that I let go, actually, the more that people come towards me, because they're not feel, and it's the same with a relationship, right? They're not feeling that pressure, they're not feeling that neediness. It's like I'm letting go, and by the law of, you know, the universal vibration, right, of energy, it's like, again, the vacuum is there and it has to meet. And it's learning, the process is learning to trust and have faith. If you're doing the work, if you're, you know, doing the energy clearing, like we've talked about, doing the self healing, doing the mindset shifting, embodying, and then you let go. And the letting go, right, is you're not thinking about it constantly. You're living your life. You're being present with yourself. You're not thinking it's not here yet. It's not here yet. You're just living your life, and you know it's going to happen because it's already done. It is just done, and it's going to happen.
Letting go of the need to control as well. I think that's quite a key issue in it. You know, like I want to know when, how, why, what's it going to look like, this, that. So it's like it's the need for control.
Yeah, so much. That's such a good one. Like, and you know, it's when you've not got the attachment, right? Because the definition of attachment, I feel, is that like you're making something else your source. Okay. And when you make something else your source, you have an attachment to it. Because when you recognize that you are source and that you are the creator, like you don't have that same attachment because nothing else is your source of love. You are your source of love and nothing outside of you. We've touched on feelings. The reason why you ever want a manifestation in the first place is because you believe it will give you that feeling. So the way to receive it is by creating that feeling in your body, first of all, through healing and through mindset work, because your emotions, your feelings are the chemical reaction of your body to your thoughts. Okay. And yeah, it's a process. You're going to move feelings through, but your feelings are then what pushes the energy out, right? So that's when we're working with the feeling. I forgot what I was saying now. Hopefully it was beneficial. I was pure on a roll and then my mind went.
That's fine. It's like universe took it away. So just to wrap this one up now. So just to say, obviously, so we've said the 4 sections. So we've got the healing, we've got the mindset work, we've got the embodiment, and then the just letting go and releasing. So obviously I'm a manifestation mindset mentor. So if I just say what I've manifested in my life, well, unconsciously and consciously, I'll work on the conscious ones because we want to speak about positive, and then Amy, if you say about yours. And this is like, you know, this is not like, oh, look at me, I'm doing great. It's more a case of like, this is real. This is possible. This is like just going out. This is not woo-woo. It's not bullshit. Like, it's possible. You know, this is how we work in life. So obviously, yeah, so I've manifested my twin flame. I manifested myself out. I was born with a chronic disease. I was transfusion dependent. I was very poorly. I now receive no transfusions, and I've got more energy and more vitality in my body than I've ever experienced in my entire life. So I've manifested health, manifested abundance. And I know that say like health, wealth, and happiness, but it's true. So abundance, like small amounts of money, but also as well, very large, substantial amounts of money that have been life-changing for me. What else? All-inclusive paid holidays. You know, it's just different things. Like what I've set my mind to, it's appeared in my reality in one way, shape, or form. There's probably other things as well that I've manifested, but I just feel like, you know, everyone's health, wealth, and happiness. I feel like those are the main ones that people want to manifest. So yeah, those are my manifestation capabilities, abilities, and demonstrations.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, like for me, you know, I really feel like the probably big one with you that a lot of people like are gonna want to sort of hear about, you know, I mean all of it really, but I think like the health thing, because if you've got something going on in your body, it's very persistent and you can't ignore it because you're living in your body, right? So that I think that's such a huge thing. You know, it's amazing that you overcame such a rare genetic disorder, but you know, you've rewired your consciousness to create that, like, I don't know if my terminology is correct, but to create that, you know, imbalance in your body or whatever, right? To like upgrade your cells and your genes to have a different experience physically. I think that's just, you know, mega powerful. And I think it's such a powerful thing that, yeah, and I really do, yeah, I respect that is what I want to say about that one.
So yeah, so come on then, Amy, tell me what you've manifested then. Let's get it out.
Yeah, so manifestation, okay, for me. So I mean, there's several aspects. But obviously, there's the business that I've talked to you about that journey, manifesting a completely different experience in work. you know, overcoming like a mental health disorder. But I think one of the bigger ones that I don't necessarily talk about is like how I manifested like insane professional dance opportunities. So when I was 16, I decided that I was going to be a professional dancer in clubs, right? And I got obsessed with music, like in particular rave music and like different DJs. And I was like, I'm gonna be a professional like nightclub dancer. And my mum was always like, why do you want to be a nightclub dancer? Why can't you go and dance in a theatre or dance in shows? And I
Salsa
was like,
dancing.
because it's not about that. For me, I love music. I love rave music, and I want it to be like a professional dancer and dance on big stages with thousands and thousands of people in like mega clubs and be part of the, you know, be part of the stage and the, you know, people watching the DJs, and then they're having a better night because of that, right? And so I started going out to clubs, and then I would watch the dancers and I'd be like, I'm going to be you one day. I'm going to do that one day. And like, yeah, so I used to go out and I used to just dance like like in the crowd, like I was on stage. And it wasn't like with the thought in mind to get me to there. It was just because I feel music, right? It's a very visceral experience in my body. I can actually see music. I see it as like geometry in my mind. So I was so connected to the music, yeah. And it was like, oh, and then over time, you know, I didn't even know about manifestation then. So we're talking about like 2000, probably around, you know, 2001, 2002. And like, I started to just say, you know, I'm going to do this. Like, it's going to happen. Like, I knew with every fiber of my being that I was going to be working for like big clubs and amazing, like well known DJs. And it happened. Like, I started going out and people would approach me and say, are you a professional dancer? And one day there was this girl that came up to me and she was like, I want you to come and dance at my night. And from there it just all went on, you know, like, and I started doing the hardcore raves. You know, I met Catherine Henshaw, a mutual friend of ours. Maybe some of you know her, the psychic medium, but we met through dancing, you know, and then yeah, and like I just kept manifesting bigger and bigger and bigger experiences. And I've also manifested, so it's a big story, but eventually I did end up manifesting working in Ibiza and all of the different places and amazing festivals. And I put together my own sort of dance troupe, and we, you know, went and worked at like many different places with thousands of people. And I've also manifested specific people as well, like, because this is definitely a thing that you can do, because people are very much influenced by our energy. And it's not like manipulation, it's just that if you have a positive loving energy, people will naturally be attracted towards that. And so yeah, when I was about 18, there was these two DJs that I particularly loved, and I was like, they were really well known, they had their own album out, they're like famous in a way, right, to me. And I was always like, I'm going to be their friend one day. Like, they would like me. Like, I know that they would want to be my best friend and I'm going to hang out with them. And it took me like 15 years, but it very much happened. Like, you know, I did start to, it was just mad because we just ended up, my group ended up dancing at their thing one night and they absolutely loved us. And then we ended up creating stage shows for them. And then I did end up hanging out with them. Like, I did end up like going to London and just chilling with them and like being the friends and speaking to them often and stuff. And so this thing is real, right? It's not nothing. You can manifest anything that you want. It's real. And when I actually look back at it all, because I did know about manifestation then, I was like, I manifested a famous person. I
Yeah.
manifested famous people, like dancing for famous people, right? And it was cool as fuck, right? And it was like, so yeah, what else have I manifested? I've manifested, yeah, again, like yourself, like large sums of money. I've manifested getting a mortgage when there was no seeming possible way to get on an actual mortgage, right? It was like, it was never going to happen. I decided I was going to have a mortgage. I was going to start living in a big house. And every day when I was on the bus going to work, as I was going through like this posh neighborhood, I would visualize myself in the different houses, living in this like, you know, bigger house, having this more expansive experience because I've rented my whole life. And then I manifested a lump sum, and now I live in a 4-bedroom house that I love. And it's like, so there's, do you know what I mean? And there's many other things that I've manifested, but they're probably like the key things, you know. So it's like, it's all real. You can have anything you want, and obviously you're always going to be growing, you're always going to be wanting more. but it's also like, I think what we've not touched on is gratitude. But again, this is such a big topic that, you know, we can talk about this for hours and hours and hours, right? But, you know, that's what I just want you to know. If you want something, whatever it is, if you want to, like, as in relationships, I have manifested having experiences, having relationships, dating different people. If I decided that I wanted to be with a person, I was going to be with that person, and it's happened several times. Now with me, I've kind of like because I've worked on myself, constantly growing, it's like I've sort of outgrown that person, and then it's been like, oh no, I don't think I want this anymore. So now but now I'm in more of kind of a surrendered place around it, in that, like, I'm probably in the place now that Jenny was, where she was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm just gonna work on me, I'm just gonna focus on me. And then, you know, like, getting myself into the feeling place of, right, you know what, like, now's the time, my life partner, not time, but it'll come in when it's in the correct alignment. But I'm not gonna force or push or any of that. So it's really good to hear what you were saying there about that, Jenny, as well today. So yeah, that's what I've manifested.
No, just thinking on these now, it's like I've manifested cars, promotions at work, manifested free photo shoots, manifested like this podcast as well. You know, it's mad. Whatever I've written down, even like promotions at work and pay rises and things like that, everything I wrote down that I wanted to manifest, I always got it. And I wasn't even a manifestation and mindset mentor at that time. You know, I was working towards it, but it is like just pulling it all apart now. So yeah, whatever you set your mind to and whatever you feed your energy into, going to obtain it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So just to sort of recap on the 4 things once again. So the first stage, or the first thing, would be to, you know, if you find yourself in a quite sort of a low place, then doing your healing work, but doing the self-love anyway, no matter where you're at, that's always going to be your foundation. Always, no exceptions, every single time. The self-love is the healing work. And from there, then your mindset stuff, right? When we start to reprogram our mindset in relation to what it is that we want, as in our goals, okay? And then the embodiment is living in the end, being the version of you that already exists now, that already has the thing, right? And then the last one was the surrendering, letting go, and being present in your life, and knowing that it's done and it's going to come to you. And if you do all 4 of those, like I say, you know, magic, miracles are going to come in, and expect it to come in a way that's better than anything you can possibly imagine, because this is part of surrendering. Like Jenny said before, you're trying to control the how. When's it going to come? Is it going to come in through this? But oh, I can see movement here. Do you know what I mean? No, you like let go of all of that stuff, right? So is there anything else that you want to say just before we finish this?
No, I feel like we have summed it up. Yeah. So if you want any help with going through these stages, obviously either speak to